Aki is deeply influenced by Italian Neorealism and Werner Fassbinder, always Fassbinder, who also worked at a frantic cut-down pace, fitting feature-length narratives into short and cheap schedules. This compares Fassbinder's cinematic style with Aki's. Also, Aki gives neo-realism his own interpretation. For example, the quest for secure work in Sica's Shoeshine and Bicycle Thieves turn into comedy in Aki's hands. The characters in Aki's films are seeking for nothing but love, well-being, dignity, and living. As Aki said, it's all the same story. People try to survive in the world they were born. The principle of live will in Italian Neorealism has a direct impact on Aki's creation. The Working Class Trilogy and the Loser Trilogy are all like slices of real life. The camera films in a documentary way, which shows the protagonist's working environment. Here are some examples. In the opening scene of Shadows in Paradise, several trucks are driving through the main gate and then stop at some garbage containers around the beach. Nikander, the hero, starts to move the garbage. In Ariel, the miners are loitering around. Then the sharp alarm rings with a boom sound. The mine is collapsing. In opening scene of The Match Factory Girl, a monotonous process of assembling matches is completely shown to us. In Drifting Clouds, a black jazz pianist are playing in a quaint cafeteria. Then the camera pans to the poker face head waitress, Ilona. Afterwards, it cuts to a waiter whispering to Ilona, and she seems a bit shocked. Then everything returns to normal. After she goes into the kitchen, in Lights in the Dusk, with a slow panning shot, pale cyan lighting is showing on the screen, accompanied by bleak darkness in Helsinki. Our protagonist, Koistinen, is performing his daily routine like a robot. The high-tech city of glass houses both the successful crook and the judiciary, but has no place for the ordinary worker who must live in the interstices of the new social order. This demonstrates the working class marginal living status in Helsinki. Characters as being outsiders are exiled from the society, and it's not only a physical isolation, but also a mental isolation from the higher class. In Aki's films, the protagonist's simple and embarrassed residential environments are always being demonstrated in an elaborate way. In Loser Trilogy, the residences of protagonists are all rented, which are considerably rough. In The Man Without a Past, M is living in a container whose former owner was frozen to death last winter. In Drifting Clouds, the couple's house is the most luxurious among those marginal people. After the couple lost their jobs, the furniture that is bought on installments is all taken back by the retailers. Most of Kaurismaki's films are based on original screenplays, but he's made a small number of literary adaptations. He aimed high with his feature debut, Crime and Punishment, a remarkably effective distillation of at least the essence of Dostoevsky's novel, if not its floridly Russian emotion, although that's still discernible beneath the surface. It's also notable for the way that so much of Kaurismaki's mature style was so clearly apparent, even at this neophyte stage. Hamlet Goes Business took a more cockeyed approach to its source, drastically shortening Shakespeare's original, casting comedian Pekka Petelius in the title role and restaging it as a cutthroat boardroom drama, in which the future of Finland's rubber duck manufacturing industry is at stake. In La Vie de Bohème, although obviously filmed in the early 1990s, the black and white cinematography and the Paris locations consciously allude to a period anywhere between 1840s of the book and the golden age of French cinema a century later, while a cast largely made up of shambling Finns speaking phonetic French places it squarely within the Kaurismaki's universe. Although little known outside Finland, Juhani Aho's novel Juha is one of the major works of their literature, adapted twice as an opera. The second time by Leevi Madetoja, whose music featured on the soundtrack of The Man Without a Past, and 4 times for the cinema, including 2 silent versions. The first was made in 1921, the second is in 1999, in Kaurismaki's most overt tribute to the cinema of the past. Although given how monosyllabic his characters normally are, denying them an audible voice at all barely makes a difference. The majority of Kaurismaki's films broadly qualify as social realism with an occasionally absurdist edge. But there is an exception. In his second feature, Karamari Union, is the virtually plotless story of 15 men, all but one named Frank, and sharing identical tastes in rebands, travel to Helsinki for a series of ridiculous and often fatal misadventures. A Kaurismaki film without music is unimaginable. Even the silent Juha has a ubiquitous soundtrack, and practically all his other works include a rich stew of Finnish tango, vintage rock and roll, and the lesser-known local classical repertoire, often performed on screen. Most of them include a scene set in a bar, featuring a live band. Music in Aki's films mainly had 3 functions. First, serving as BGM. You can hear it in a dive bar, restaurant, and a vintage Cadillac. Not only will it enhance the sense of presence, but also can it render the atmosphere.
Syödään keitto syksymällä. Ostin kyljyksiä.
Mistäspäin nyt tulee? Olet sittenkin juonut.
Päinvastoin. Vain lasillisen. Sain töitä. Istuppas tuohon, tyttöseni. Niin saat kuulla. Pääsin bussikuskiksi. Turistimatkoja Pietariin ja takaisin.
Niin kauas.
Palkka on sen mukainen. Etkö riemuitse?
Totta kai. Milloin aloitat?
Heti huomenna. Aamulla on vain muodollinen lääkäritarkastus ja sitten ei kun menoksi. Eikös työmies saa ruokaa? Vai pitääkö mennä baariin syömään?
Istu siinä. Tulee heti.
Secondly, music is an indication to the screen. It echoes with the plot, and sometimes music is more effective than dialogue. Emotional melody takes place of narratives, makes audience empathize smoothly as story unfolds.
Maksaako se?
Ei vesi maksa. Ottakaa vain.
Niin kauan kun vereni lämmin on, mä muistan sinua. Niin kauan kun vereni lämmin on, mä muistan sinua. Mä kannan kuvas rinnassain ja sua vain ikävöin.
Ja Ilonalta yli. Näytätte nälkäiseltä.
Minulla ei ole rahaa.
Ei se mitään. Menee muuten haaskuuseen. Juotteko maitoa?
Thirdly, the reverse use of music. Reverse use of music means that music goes opposite characters' emotions. Cheerful scenes with woeful music, while miserable scenes are given an uplifting tone. In The Man Without a Past, when Ilona is going to bed, Do the Shake, performed by the Renegades, comes from the radio.
Had a shaking party dancing through the night now. Everybody shaking to the left and shaking to the right now. Everybody shout, shout, keep the street awake. Do the shake, everybody do the shake. Everybody shaking, dancing in the street now. Everybody shaking to a
Cheerful rock and roll is in contrast with Ilona's loneliness.
shout, shout, keep the street awake. Do the shake, everybody do the shake.
In The Match Factory Girl, when Edith completed her revenge, sitting on sofa, pathetic symphony come from the radio. But she doesn't feel sad, only relief, so she switches the channel into a ballad. Meanwhile, what I feel towards Edith is nothing but compassion.
Oi, kuinka saatoitkaan tehdä kaikki unelmat ihanat tyhjiksi haaveiksi vain.
In addition, music also has unexpected effects such as irony and humor.